Welcome back to the channel, everyone. We have here the Casio G7700 from the G-Shock line indeed. It's a wonderful piece, super nice watch, super cool watch indeed. It's packed with different functions and quirks. So here's the case back, the model number and the module as well, 3095 as you can see. It's water resistant to 200 meters actually. Have here, I bought a couple of rubber seals for the case back, because I'm gonna replace those as well. And I have as well a reverse dial version of this watch, as you can see down here. It's a super nice watch indeed. In this video, I'm not going to talk about the different functions of the watch. I'm just going to show you how to clean the watch. And I'm going to remove the guts of the watch and I'm going to try to clean it. So here's a hidden quirk. So let me turn off the light down there. Look at that. How cool is that? There's a case back as well. And this is an old version of this watch. It's not working. I tried to fix it yesterday, but it didn't work out right. So yeah, let's get on with it and let's try to fix this watch. Let's try to clean it. So we're gonna start by removing the straps and the bezel. And you will see how absolutely difficult it is to remove the bezel. There seems to be a common pattern in these second-hand watches. People tend to remove, the pins and have them replaced by aftermarket ones. So I even broke a nail there, trying to remove the bezel. It's super, super hard to remove actually. And as you can see, with a little effort, we remove the bezel, and you can see down there a spring coming out of the case. So that spring actually closes the circuit, and if you remove it without due care, you are gonna break it, and that's exactly what happened here. I broke the spring in 2 pieces actually. But it doesn't really matter because we're going to stretch it. We're going to reutilize the same spring actually. We remove the case back. There are some inscriptions here I don't understand. We are removing now the rubber seal. It's pretty dirty. So we're going to clean it later with soap and water. And this is the case back seal, the rubber seal. As you can see, there's a little indentation down here. So over there. So someone, when they replaced or tried to replace the battery, probably they didn't seal the watch properly. So we will have to remove and replace actually the rubber seal. There you have the module. And It's quite dirty as well. There's a little plate that comes out. You have to be careful because if you're not careful, you're going to lose it. There you have it. Huh. That little tab actually should be pointing upward. We removed the first button down there. Double seal. There's one inside actually. There we go. Let's go for the second pusher actually, the second button down there. Let's remove the E-washer, but it flew away actually. We don't have plenty of those washers for parts in replacement, so we don't care too much about it. It's super dirty, as you can see here. So we remove the rubber seal that's inside there. They seem to be in pretty good condition actually. And now we proceed to clean the watch case thoroughly. Little soap and water. The bezel as well. And the straps. You gotta make sure, you have to make sure absolutely that the watch is dry. The case is dry actually. So we're gonna clean the inside of the buttons there. Now we're going to clean the pushers, the buttons themselves. We're going to use a kitchen solution. There you go. They're quite dirty indeed. And then we will put the pushers back together down there. So the spring, the washer, and then the rubber seals. So as I said before, there are 2 rubber seals per button. So the first one down here. You gotta be careful because these are very, very elusive. There you go. And we have the first pusher down here. As usual, you should apply a little silicone on the seals actually. That's what we're gonna do here. And then we put them back into the case. Carefully. And the washer, actually the E-washer down here. Like I said before, these seals and washers are pretty elusive. They want to fly away actually. And I don't care much about it because I have plenty of, replacement parts for the Casio G-Shocks, so it's okay. But in general, you should put a little plastic on top of the watch when removing these little parts, because otherwise you're gonna get them like fly away, and then you're not gonna recover those parts again. So at this moment, I realized that I had lost one of the washers, actually the one that seals the rubber seals there, the tiny little rubber seals. So I resorted to my old pack of E-clips and rubber seals for G-Shocks. So let me show you here. It's a bunch of different shapes of E-clips, actually. Look at that. So there's plenty of spare parts. We can afford to get one or two or three lost in the end. There's no problem because we have parts, but in general, you have to be careful. You have to take care of each and every part because these are tiny, tiny, tiny little pieces, actually. And it's best to keep the originals for sure. So there you have it. I try not to touch the inside of the crystal, but sometimes that's impossible. So I want to clean the crystal from, the inside, the underside of the crystal, actually. And this is getting in pretty good shape indeed. Gotta make sure it's dry, absolutely dry. We clean the module quickly. There you go. Make sure there are no little hairs or stuff like that. So this part is a little tricky because you have to make sure that the little tab match its indentation perfectly, because otherwise you may ruin the watch. You may ruin the module. Indeed, that's what happened with the other watch that I showed you, the reverse dial version of this watch that I showed you a few minutes ago. Actually, the tab was loose inside the case, and it was indeed in between. It was between the dial and the module. So the time wasn't displaying correctly because that little tab was pressing onto the dial, onto the module, actually. So there you have it. So now we're going to replace the rubber seal for the case back, actually. And as usual, we should make sure to apply a little silicone on the case back seal. I had applied the silicone and I had put, the case back on, but I realized actually that there was a little piece of, the spring down there inside the hole, the spring hole down here. So let me show you. That's the spring, the original spring, and it's broken because a little tiny fraction of it is inside the hole. Let me remove it. And as you can see here, it's a little rusty and pretty hard actually. Little rust came out. So I'll have to remove the seal and clean it afterward. So that hole actually goes from side to side. So we gotta make sure that it's clean and it's free of any debris or any traces of dust or any other material actually. And we are ready to put the case back on. Everything is in place. So I'm just cleaning the case. I'll try not to touch it. So I'm gonna use a special cloth to clean it. Let's put the screws back into place, and there you have the watch down here. Look at the little tab there, the white tab in its place. It's absolutely gorgeous. So everything is working in order. So we seal the watch. We make sure it's properly sealed. I'm not gonna do a water test. I just trust the rubber seals are working properly. The silicone is doing its job. And now I'm going to put the little tiny spring back into place as well. So we stretched the little spring, stretch it out a little bit so as to make up for the missing part. Remember, a little tiny fraction of it went away because it just broke into pieces. And then last cleaning, and maybe at this moment we can put the bezel back onto the case. So let's grab the bezel. So putting back on the bezel is not as hard as removing it. Removing this thing is super difficult because it's a hard piece indeed. It's not a soft material. That cover you see there, that little ring, that's actually a piece of metal. And there you have it. And here is the watch. It's not brand new, but it looks pretty cool actually. There you have the strap, the case back, the dial. Everything is clean and working in order. I absolutely recommend this watch to all those who love the G-Shock Square. This is an alternative actually to the G-Shock Square. So this is battery operated watch, and so you need to replace the battery periodically. I think it's a couple of years. And here's the other version of this watch. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope the video is helpful, and I will see you in the next one.